All right, Joey, we're back.
Yes, sir. Back for episode 12.
Mm-hmm.
And, one of those great American annual traditions is right around the horizon, and that,
Yeah.
of course, is the Academy Awards.
Okay. Yeah.
So we have decided we're doing this a little bit more theatrically
Mm-hmm.
in a way, but not really. More
Gonna.
of an in-home media kind of thing. So why don't you tell us what we're going to tech about?
We're gonna talk about. That's good. So the title of today's episode is "Shaken, Not Stirred."
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty common saying from a particular movie
Yep.
or a
More
series
on
of
that
movies,
in a
I
minute.
guess, which we'll talk about in a little while. But today we're going to talk about in-home media servers. We kind of alluded to this, I don't know, back in like episode 3 or something,
Mm-hmm.
where you mentioned something about it, and I'm like, you know what? It'd be cool to just build one. So today we're going to talk about it a little bit, and
Okay.
then in a little bit we're gonna build one. We're gonna see
Sweet.
what we can do.
Okay, I like it. And then since you're gonna tech about media servers, we're gonna drink about movies, of course.
There we go.
And like you said, the most famous line where we get our title from, we're doing movies, cocktails from movies, or alcohol from movies, basically. And I thought for a minute we might kick off the episode by eating a human liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't find any human livers, so we are going with, of course, the James Bond
Okay.
classic vodka martini,
Mm-hmm.
shaken, not stirred.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, for this, you're going to want to get a little bit better, higher quality end vodka.
Yeah.
You're not going to want to just grab the well vodka, because martinis, if you don't know what a martini is, it's basically just straight liquor.
Mm-hmm.
And like a lot of it.
Yeah.
You know, a basic martini is like 3 ounces. Where if you were to get like a vodka soda, it's 1.5 ounces.
Okay.
And then you're putting soda in it and you're watering it down and then you're doing all the things. But I mean, you want to go like Grey Goose, decent vodka. You can go higher up if you want to pay for it, Belvedere's and things like that. And so, as Ciroc.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say George Clooney has one, but I think George Clooney has a tequila. But anyway, if you can find a vodka made by movie stars, even better. Even better.
Works perfectly for this.
It works great, yeah. I mean, I know Ryan Reynolds has the aviation gin and Clooney has the tequila and all that stuff, right? People that have money just keep investing it and making more money, and it's sick for us little people. But it's like, man. But anyway, so couple things to know about martinis. There's some terminology that may intimidate certain people from like starters, people that I never drank a martini before.
Mm-hmm.
May intimidate you to go into a fancy bar and be like, I want a martini, and they'll be like, well, what kind do you want? And you're like, I don't know. So to educate you a little bit, martinis are basically vodka or gin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, traditionally. If you like olives, you can say dirty. That means they're gonna put olive juice into it.
Yeah.
They are gonna come with vermouth as well. Usually, vermouth is a fortified wine, so more alcohol. And vermouth by itself is not great. We've had Manhattans. Vermouth not like the best spirit. So, but it's like 3-1 usually if you do 3 ounces of, or vodka. For math's sake, we'll keep it easy. 3 ounces of vodka, 1 ounce of vermouth.
Mm-hmm.
If you say dry, you want a dry martini, it means you want less vermouth.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If you want it very dry, then probably almost no vermouth, kind of thing. And then, or you could say with a twist, right? With a twist would be, instead of an olive, you probably want lemon.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's what we opted for here. I'm not sure how Bond's probably an olive man.
Yeah.
He's a little salty when he's punching Dr. No in the face, but
and it also might depend on which James Bond it is.
It may, because Daniel Craig ordered a Vesper, which is a type of martini, but I believe I've never had one, and I don't think I'm not a martini guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think a Vesper is part gin, part vodka, and part Chenin Blanc. So, Yeah, so there's a little extra things that go into it. It's more of an actual cocktail than just a straight martini, but it is a derivative of martini. Of course, lemon drop martinis, appletinis, espresso martinis. There's lots of martinis, but because it's Bond, we're doing vodka. So I've got it in here with ice, as you can hear.
Because you shake it, you don't stir it.
Yeah. Stirring the martini is just not fun anyway.
Yeah.
So we're just going to do this, and we are going to drink it. This is very dry. So not a whole lot of anything in it. It's just straight up vodka, just a little bit of vermouth. And yeah, it looks like there's some extras. I think it's ice crystals. It's just very cloudy looking, so it threw me off. And then, of course, we got the lemon on the side. So yeah, so here it is.
Here
it is to you, Mr. Bond. It is cold and refreshing, and I will drink that. I guess maybe I'll be a martini man one day.
There we go.
So, yes. So, without further ado, let's do the thing. Let's talk about media servers. I know.
Let's do it.
Plex is the one I'm familiar with.
Yep. So first, before we get into Plex, we got to talk about hardware types, because there's different ways you can do this, right?
Okay.
So you can get a NAS drive. NAS stands for Network Attached Storage.
Okay.
It is like a plug-and-play box. You get this box. You take hard drives and stick it in there, unless you get one that already has hard drives in it.
Okay.
And that's really nice because it's really simple. It is.
It's not just kind of taking a external hard drive and just hooking it directly up to, because I know some routers can plug a hard drive in directly.
Yeah, so in this case, it's a network attached, so it goes by Ethernet cable. So you don't use USB to plug it into your computer or anything. Okay. It's just hanging out on your network. You got Ethernet cable from it to your router or to your switch.
So if I'm on my laptop, it might show up as like a G drive or something like that.
Yeah, a lot of times what you do is you map your drives over there. But then the NAS drives, especially like the Synology NAS is a good brand that I like. But the NAS drives have like its own operating system. So you jump inside that operating system, you basically log into this thing, and you can download applications and stuff like that. So that's exactly what you're going to do. You're gonna get a NAS drive, you're gonna install an application, and then you're gonna run the application through the NAS drive. Okay. It tends to be lower power. It tends to have some kind of warranty from the manufacturer. What's really nice, Synology has their own RAID platform. Okay. RAID is basically let's say you have 2 drives. Depends on what kind of RAID you have as well. You have 2 drives and they're both 8 terabytes or something. Instead of having 8 plus 8 to get 16, you have 8 mirrored to 8. So you still only have 8, but if one drive fails, then the other drive takes over. Okay. There are, again, different kinds of RAID. So Synology is nice because it will do the RAID functionality for you. You just tell it you want to set up RAID. And so you might have 6 drives. And then if you have one fail, the other 5 drives just keep on working. You pull that drive out, put a new drive in, and it rewrites back over to that other drive. So you're always going to be, not always, a lot of times you're going to be one drive short as far as overall capacity, but you do get some nice benefits to having that RAID just in case a drive fails. The problem with NAS drives is they tend to be a little bit more expensive and they have proprietary software. They're also underpowered a lot of times for other things. So in the case of what I wanted to do, I wanted to have a box at home that can run a media server, but I can also maybe act as a gaming server. So I could run Minecraft on it, and me and my buddies from wherever across the states, we can all play Minecraft together using my box as the main server.
Okay, so they can just access your server and
yes. So NAS drives, they wouldn't be fantastic at doing something like that. Synology is a good brand. There's also QNAP, but going away from NAS drives, then you could do something like a micro PC, where you've got this little bitty box and it's just a little computer. And then a lot of times you take an external drive and you plug an external drive into it.
Yep, exactly what I did.
So these are great because they're portable, a lot easier than taking this big NAS drive that requires a network cable and you got to go take this whole thing, move it somewhere.
Yeah, I think my PC is like that big.
Yeah, so small, it's portable. The only problem is because you got the external drives, now your external drives, you always got to make sure you pack that along with you if you're going somewhere, and it takes up a little bit more, more cabling space kind of thing. But again, portable option, pretty good option for somebody who, you just want to go and get one of these little computers and set it up for this.
And relatively inexpensive. I mean, those portable ones are that mini PCs, what, like $150 maybe?
Okay.
I mean,
yeah, you got a pretty good deal on it probably.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Amazon, a couple $100. Yeah. It's not much. It's not like you're getting a gaming laptop for $1,000 or more. So yeah.
Now here's what I did, and what we're gonna do in a little bit. My option was I took an old computer that I already had.
Okay.
It has a 1 terabyte SSD in it. From when I upgraded it several years ago. I built a new computer a little bit over a year ago.
Okay.
And so this computer was struggling to do the kind of things I wanted to do with it. I was playing games and it couldn't handle it. So I'm like, okay, what we're going to do with this old machine with a decent enough 1 terabyte internal SSD that's inside the machine is I'm going to build it into a Linux box.
Okay.
So then you put Linux on it, and then you add applications like Plex. So we're going to walk through all that later. But
so for people like me who have a very limited understanding, and for the people like some of the ones watching who have no understanding, Linux is an operating system like Windows?
Sort of. It is an operating system. The 3 biggest ones are Windows, Mac OS, and Linux.
Okay.
Linux has a lot of flavors to it. You can have Ubuntu, you can have, I think it's Red Hat, you can have, there's probably thousands of, we call them distros or distributions. Distros of Linux can be just totally, every other day there's probably a new one that's built. Because Linux is, more command line. It has less graphical interface to it, which is why it can run on lesser hardware or older hardware.
Okay.
It doesn't eat your machine as much. Now, the only problem, the con with this is it takes a little bit more of it's more of a barrier to entry because you have to do more research to understand what you're doing. Unless, you've grown up messing with Linux your whole life and then you're like, oh, this is easy.
That's not me at all. So.
Well, it's not me either. So this experience doing this for this episode is kind of my introduction into Linux.
Okay.
I had seen it before a little bit in college, but never really got to dive into it. So I was excited for this because...
People tend to see a lot of things in college for the first time.
Yeah, that's true. But this...
Linux is not one that I would immediately think of, but...
Yeah. Well, I was also in computer networking, so...
Yeah, for sure.
But it was nice to get into this and be able to play around with it a little bit. And what I want to do now that I have done this a couple of times for this episode, I want to dive into it deeper and see the other things. So
okay. Expect an upcoming episode on just Linux.
Yeah, well, yeah, it won't be in season 1. Maybe season 2 or season 3. But it's this is nice because I'm reusing old hardware. I don't just toss this machine in the e-recycling. I get to use this machine for something else now that it's past its lifespan of what it can do with Windows 10.
Yeah.
So that is the hardware side. There's more options than just these 3. But those are the 3 that I think are relevant for somebody who's starting out. These are kind of your base options. You could just go buy a machine that is just a Plex box probably. But that's, I think if people have old machines, old laptops or something just hanging around at home, it might be good for them to get, Linux. It's free and play around with it and just have some fun. Okay. So have some fun.
Have some fun. Fool around and find out, I guess.
That's right.
So,
okay, so then on the software side, we mentioned Plex several times. It's not the only one, but it is the industry standard for media servers.
Okay.
It is, and it's our choice for what we're doing today. What's nice about Plex is it has apps for TVs, it has apps for phones. You can just pull it up in a web browser.
Yeah, pretty much anything. And that's, I think, one of the reasons I liked it, because every smart TV, your Roku's, your Kindle, you're not Kindle, your Amazon Fire, all that stuff, already just, it's there. So you
Yeah.
can access it. You can log into your Plex account. It's not a lot of programming.
Right.
You know, it's easy. You just need a few online tutorials and you can figure, I mean, I figured it out. So
Yeah.
it's not that difficult. But yeah.
The other thing that's nice about Plex is you can actually share Plex with your friends or your family or people outside of your home.
And
it does require Plex Pass, which you have to pay for.
Yeah, and I know there's a way, I've never figured it out, I think because of networking and things like that, where I can set up my media server at home. It can stay at home all the time as long as it's connected to the internet. I can go off, like if I have something on my phone, the app on my phone, I can drive around and pull it up and watch whatever I have on my media server where I'm at. But there's some kind of configuration I may, if it becomes important to me, I may have you look at it at some point. But there's some configuration that allows it to go out. Usually when I try it and I'm not on my home Wi-Fi, then it errors and it doesn't load appropriately. You know, but if you're sitting on the toilet and you're like, I'll just pull up my phone and it works fine if you're home.
So I may have a solution for you.
Okay.
When we go to build this thing, that we'll talk about it. It might work for that, but I don't know how it would work with your mini PC. It was something that I just learned about last night.
Okay.
So we'll when we get to that, we'll see, or we'll have a conversation about it and decide, maybe that is a way that we can go, and that would help.
Okay.
So we mentioned Plex.
Yep.
There's another one called Jellyfin.
Okay.
Jellyfin is open source. It's 100% free, and there's no tracking on it, and it also does not require Plex Pass. So you don't have to pay for anything. It's just another one, another option.
What does the interface look like on that?
No idea.
Okay.
This is not one I had heard of until yesterday, but it is the alternative to Plex. But so Plex, is a name brand basically.
Okay.
It's got lots of people on their team, R&D and everything, so they're constantly developing and stuff. Jellyfin's going to be that much smaller option, that much smaller alternative, where you may not get the support that you might get with Plex.
Yeah. And I mean, that's another reason I like Plex, like the user interface of it. If you're, it's got a search function. You can search for The Goonies, right?
Yeah.
And you can go into The Goonies, you pull up the movie, and it'll generally tell me if I have it on my media server, it'll tell me it's on my media server. If I don't have it on my media server, or if it can't connect to my media server, it will look for other places, because it does have free content.
Yeah.
So even if you don't want to go through the whole hassle of doing a media server, you can download Plex and watch free stuff. So there is that. But it will, if back to The Goonies, you click on The Goonies, it will give you the poster. It will give you the description. It will show you a list, like thumbnail images of all the people in the cast.
Yeah.
And then you can click on each person in the cast and you can go to their page. And, so Corey Haim, you can click on Corey Haim, or no, not Corey Haim, the other brother. What's his, why can I not think of his name? The guy who played Thanos.
What I mean? Josh Brolin?
Yes, Josh Brolin. So you can click on Josh Brolin and it'll pull up Josh Brolin's page and it'll show you everything he's done. The one with Elizabeth Shue where the guy was invisible, and then you've got, the Avengers movies, and you've got, all the other stuff that he's done, Deadpool 2 and all that stuff. So I know him in comic book movies and weird stuff, but The Goonies is great. And then you can click on Deadpool 2 and it'll pull up Deadpool 2 and it'll show you where you can watch that, and then you can click on Ryan Reynolds and probably won't take you to Aviation Gin, but whatever.
No, but it would take you to what was that movie he did? It was a romance movie. He had to marry somebody to keep her from being deported or something.
Proposal.
Yeah.
That was a great movie.
Because it's a big thing to deport people back to Canada, I guess.
I mean, it might be. You never know. Politics is weird, man. Things are always changing. You never know what'll happen.
That's right.
You can deport Sandra Bullock. It's fine. What movies has she made lately?
Yeah.
So
I think Bird Box was the last
Oh yeah,
good one.
Yeah, Deporter.
Okay, so that's Jellyfin, that's Plex. There are two other softwares that we'll just mention.
Okay.
They're called Sonar and Radar. It's Sonarr and
Mhm.
Radarr. But these are apps that find media on your devices and then they organize it for you.
Okay.
So Sonar takes your TV shows and then organizes it like inside of your folders to be in the correct order and the correct file structure and that kind of thing.
So it'll look for like all the episodes that you may have,
Yeah.
and it'll
And
compile
then
it.
Radar does the same thing, but instead of for TV shows, it's for movies.
Okay.
So these are separate applications, but you can tie them to something like Plex, so that Plex, it looks at your folders, and then Sonar and Radar helps sort them and organize them in a different way.
That sounds like extra.
Yeah, it does sound like extra. And, you know, Plex is, from what I can see so far on what I've looked at, it looks like Plex does an okay job by its own.
Yeah, I mean, you can just make a file on your computer anywhere that says movies and dump all your movies in there.
Yeah.
And then you can have TV and you can dump all your TV episodes in there. And then mine's a little bit more structured because under movies I have like categories like comedy or sci-fi, and under TV I have it to where it's like each series, you know, Friends or Community or whatever. And so I have all the episodes for that series in that, so it's a little bit more combined. But if it weren't, it would read the metadata of the files, and it would combine everything in the Plex side, so you can just click on Community and it'll show you all the episodes for that.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. And then it plays the theme song while you're sitting there deciding which episode to play.
Yeah.
So it's nice. It's a nice. It's a better interface than Disney Plus for the most part.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, because there's so many things like on Disney Plus or Hulu where I'm like, or maybe not Disney. Yeah, I think Disney Plus too, but Amazon especially, on Prime. But it's like, you know, you find a movie, you've never seen it before. You're like, what is this? Click on it. Sounds interesting. Is it a B movie? Try to figure out who's in it. It doesn't show you who's in it. It may list a couple of names, but you can't see the cast. It's really, it feels very archaic.
Yeah.
You know, where I'm used to Plex, and I actually kind of prefer Plex these days, just because it does feel more like, and I hate to say this, but like an iPhone. You know.
I hate to hear you say that.
I'm not an Apple advocate at all, but I will say that the good thing and the reason everybody uses iPhones is because they're very user friendly.
Yeah.
You know, and that it has that going for it. You know, we're both Android people, but the yeah, I mean, it's nice when you can. It just feels good. It feels comfortable. It's like going to Lowe's instead of Home Depot. You know what I mean? There's just, it's just a little bit more comfortable to be in. I don't know. We're way off topic. I'm gonna drink more.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so we've talked about some of the software there. Now we need to talk just briefly about the networking side. Okay. A LAN, a local area network. We talked about this the last 2 weeks, but devices within the same network talk to each other. So this is nice because, you know, you have your Linux box with Plex on it, your media server, and then you have your laptop that is over yonder, and you can, from your laptop, access through the same network to your media server. Well, I do think it should be noted that if somebody's going to set up an in-home media server, they probably need to do a DHCP reservation in their router or their DHCP server. We talked about that last week and the week before, that you want to make sure that that address is going to stay the same, because a lot of times you're going to access using the IP address, and you want to make sure it's not going to change day to day.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not going anywhere, right? It's like a printer.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Well, even if it goes somewhere, like, you know, if you take your mini PC and you walk out of the house with it and you take it, you know, on vacation with you, when you come back home and you plug it back in, it's going to get that address again from your router.
Gotcha.
Now, wherever you're at on vacation, it's going to have a different address, you know, whatever home you're in, because you're not static on the machine, you're dynamic on the machine, but at your house, you're dynamic but statically reserved.
Got it.
So you want to do that. You also, really good idea to make sure you're hardwired in, especially on a Linux box, instead of using Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi, it's great for lots of things. It's great for your laptop trying to access it. But the media server itself is going to be pushing data forwards and backwards, up and down. So you want to make sure you're hardwired in just to get that good, solid Ethernet connection. When you are outside of your LAN and you're accessing from the internet somewhere else, you want to, you're phoning home, and then we go back to what you mentioned earlier. You can port forward on your router. We talked about port forwarding last week, where you go and you have an IP address, then you have a port, and on your router you set port forwarding rules so that you're opening up that port to go into a specific device. So you could do the same thing with your media server to watch Plex or whatever. You can also use a VPN, which we're going to talk about VPNs in more detail and in a future episode. But the main thing you want to know is a VPN is like this magic tunnel where you have your network and you have the hotel's network, and the VPN basically just creates this tunnel that's secure where these devices talk to each other without talking to the rest of the world. So you could use something like Tailscale, which is what I found out about last night. And Tailscale is a zero config VPN. I mean, you set it up as an application like on your Linux box. Then you download the application to your phone. You type in your IP address, click connect, boom, now you're connected. So when you're driving around, you go somewhere else, you pull up Tailscale, you log in to Tailscale, connect directly to your home media server, and now you can watch stuff.
Okay. I like it.
I don't know exactly all of the Tailscale functionalities for different devices, like what we would do on your micro PC. But I will show everybody later on how you're going to do it on a Linux box.
Okay. And does this have cost associated with it?
No, it's free.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Even better.
And the very last thing that we'll talk about in this section is something called Docker. This is a Linux application. Essentially what Docker does is it takes every Linux app that you have and it brings it all together in this interface that allows you to control things individually. So with Linux, things can get hairy with Linux in the command line. You might do one thing and it breaks another thing. Well, with Docker, if you break something, you break only that thing and you don't break everything.
Gotcha.
So you might do an update to, let's say my intention is a Plex server and a Minecraft server. Let's say I update Minecraft, it breaks Minecraft. Well, because I've got Docker, it keeps Plex separate. So I don't have to worry about Plex getting broken.
Gotcha.
The other thing that it does is Docker compose files are created. You could take, if my computer just died, the hardware just totally kicked out, then I could pull the Docker compose files from the hard drive and stick those in another machine, and it would take all of my settings basically for Docker and put them in there, so I don't have to recreate it from scratch.
Nice.
And that is the boring part.
That's the boring part. Ooh.
So in just a few minutes, I think we'll come back with another drink, and we'll do this thing.
Yeah, we did the hard liquor for the boring part on purpose. Make it more fun. All right. Yep.
So we'll be right back.
Woo.
Okay, we are back for part 2 here.
And it looks like you got something crazy going on.
Yes.
All right.
So we'll tackle this in just a minute, but first we've got a new drink from a new movie.
New movie. Woo. Yeah, so this one was tricky because there's a whole lot of alcohol that happens in movies. And a lot of memorable scenes. You've got the volleyball scene in the original Top Gun, right? And everybody's sitting around drinking beer. You got Jay Gatsby toasting champagne.
Yeah.
You've got, so many different things. And you got the TV stuff, which kind of applies, but not really because we're doing movies. They don't do Academy Awards for TV shows. Those are, a different award. But, you could do like an old fashioned for Mad Men, or you could do a Cosmo for Sex and the City, or, whatever, if we were doing that stuff, but we're not. And another big one is a White Russian. I mentioned that to you. The Big Lebowski. Everybody loves the dude. He very famously walked around with a White Russian, but we've had that. Yeah. So we don't really need to do that. Hadn't done martinis. Haven't done this guy. And this is another movie that champagne could apply to. Also, Mountains of Cocaine. We don't have those, and it's not that kind of show. But this is the Cuba Libre from Scarface. I was like, what's the movie? I lost all of a sudden. So yeah, Cuba Libre from Scarface. Al Pacino, big drug lord, all that kind of stuff. Classic movie. Yeah, I think he's famous as a Coke dealer, but this is just a little classic.
Yeah.
You know, classic little. It's rum, it's Coke, it's lime.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't get more simple really than that. So
it smells great.
Oh,
the
it
lime
is
on it's really smells
it's
great.
very nice, and it kind of elevates it. You know, you're sitting outside on a summer day.
Yeah.
You know, I like to drink or joke with people that, you know, in the summers I don't really drink bourbon so much because it's heavy. It feels more like cold weather.
Yeah.
You know, and I like drinking rum in the summer because it makes me feel like a pirate. So, yeah. So this is a good summer sipper.
Well, let's go for it.
Yep.
Okay.
You get the nice sweet characteristics from the rum there.
Yeah.
Gold rum is recommended, not the clear stuff. Just find a basic gold rum. I just use the well.
Yeah.
Well is fine if you're mixing it with Coke or whatever. You know, you're not going to taste it really.
Yeah.
And we're not going to drink enough of these that we're going to have to worry about a nasty hangover tomorrow.
That's right.
So it's not. I don't know after that martini, but yeah. So. And then just some fresh lime. Squeeze a couple in there. Garnish with an extra one if you want. Ounce and a half of rum, ice. Fill it with Coke. Squeeze in some limes. You're good to go. It's super easy. It was so easy we didn't even feel like we needed to record it being made.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, it tastes pretty good. I like the smell. I like the taste.
It makes me feel like a fancy drug lord.
There we go.
All right.
Let's see if money just starts falling out of this guy now.
Speaking of having the world in the palm of your hands, that's a good segue, right?
Yeah, for sure. Let's go into another world.
Yeah. So this screen here, if you can kind of see it, is to this, right?
Yes.
Your Linux old computer.
Yep. So this is my old computer, and what we're doing is a brand new, fresh install of Linux straight on this box.
Okay.
So I've already done this. Did it last night at 12 o'clock. Well, this morning at 12 o'clock. But I'm gonna do it again, just so that everybody can see the process from beginning to end.
Right.
It's pretty simple, actually. A lot of this is gonna be, you know, like in my case, I copy and pasted commands, and I'll explain a little bit about what those commands are doing. Again, not super familiar with all the Linux stuff. So there's, you know, probably some viewers of ours that are going to see this and go, oh, but you could do it this way, or you could do it that way, or you're actually doing it because of this. If you're a Linux master, comment down below about the different ways you could do things, the techniques that might be a little bit different in another scenario, or if you've never seen Linux before in your life, comment what you think is the most interesting thing about it.
Yeah, and if you're one of those Linux know-it-alls, the only thing I have to say to you is, where were you at 12 o'clock this morning?
Yeah, no kidding.
So, man.
Okay, so what I have done is I have gotten a flash drive. I went to Ubuntu's website and I said, I need the most up-to-date version of Ubuntu that is LTS, which is long-term support. So this is not the most...
Sounds like somebody from Wakanda.
Yeah, it does kind of. But it's not the most up-to-date active version of the program, but it is the most active. It is the most up-to-date long-term support version of Ubuntu.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to install that with the flash drive. Now, if you are like, how in the world do I go to this menu? In this particular case, with this computer, you press F12 when you're starting it up, and it will go to the boot menu.
Got it.
So we're in the boot menu. We're going to select the flash drive that I've got plugged into the back of this thing, and then we're going to run that guy. And it's going to be super stinking simple on how to do this. So the first option's there, try or install the server. That's what we're going to do. By the way, there's different versions. You can have Ubuntu desktop or Ubuntu server. We're using server because that's what I'm doing with this machine, is making it a media server.
Got it.
So that's what we're going to select. So just enter on the keyboard. Then we wait for it to pop up the next screen and take a drink while we're waiting.
Boom.
Wow, lots of stuff going on.
Now we're in the matrix.
So we don't care about 99% of what's popping up on the screen right now.
I don't care about any of it.
Other than just to know that we got green OKs on the left-hand side.
Yay.
So that's all good. Now we're changing to text so small you can't see it.
Right? I can see. I'm standing pretty close, but
And now we are working on some configuration. Okay, first option here. What kind of language do we want? Well,
Deutsch.
Yeah, no. There's only so far that I can get on Deutsch, but we're gonna go English. Just hit enter on the keyboard. Then it's gonna ask you about your keyboard layout. We're staying with English US, so we're gonna hit done. Now it's gonna give you the option for Ubuntu server, the server minimized, or do you want to go searching for third-party drivers? We don't need to do anything here other than keep your Ubuntu server. You notice there's a little X there. So that's all we need to have checked. So we're going to hit done. And right here is very important. Right there it tells you DHCP v4 192.168.1.205. That's our IP address.
24 is the port?
No, 24 is a /24. So that's your CIDR number that we talked about last week.
Oh, colon would be the port.
That's right. So subnet mask.
I learned something.
Subnet mask is going to be 255.255.255.0. Now, because, like I mentioned earlier, what you want to do is do a DHCP reservation. So now's the point where if this was a permanent install, you're going to go jump on your router. You know the address is 1.205. You're going to find that address with this machine in your router in the DHCP pool settings, and you're going to make your reservation right there.
You say that like I know how to do that.
Well, one day we will walk through that on a router. But if anybody who's familiar with getting inside their router to set static reservations, this is the time where you want to go do that.
Got it.
Because when this thing reboots, you want it to keep its 1.205 so that later on you can keep using your 1.205. Okay, so I am just going to right now make a note that the IP address there is going to be 1.205. And also, you guys should be making sure that you have plugged in your device with an Ethernet cable. If you hadn't done that, you're not going to get an address there. So that's going to cause problems.
Because there's no Wi-Fi on it?
Right, because I don't have Wi-Fi on this box. So 1.205, we're good. We've noted it. Now we can move on. So we hit done. Proxy address. At this point, you could set up a proxy address. We're not going to. We're not going to do anything with proxies at all. So we're just going to skip that today. Then you have the mirror address. This is where it is going to be looking for Ubuntu information. So you could put in your own mirror address. We're not going to. We're just going to let this thing pull the information it needs. Let it say this mirror location passed tests. And that means, hey, we're good to go. So we hit done to move on. All right. So now we have a couple settings here. It's asking, do you want to use the entire disk? You'll remember that earlier I said I have an internal SSD in here that's 1 terabyte. So I'm going to use that entire disk. What I'm not going to do is it is asking for an LVM group. I'm going to come down and I'm going to uncheck that LVM group because I don't need to do anything with LVM at this point.
Okay.
So we're going to now go down, hit done.
Know what LVM is. It sounds like a pyramid scheme.
It probably is.
Yeah.
So this is telling me, hey, these are your devices. This is your hard drive. This is basically what we have decided that we're going to run Ubuntu on based on the settings that you've now selected.
Okay.
So this is just like a summary of it. We're going to hit done. So way to select those. This screen is telling us, hey, when you do this, we're going to wipe everything on your drive. So if you don't want to do that, you should stop what you're doing right now. In this case, the whole point is to start from the beginning. So let's hit continue.
Boom.
All right, now's the fun part, or the start of the fun part. What's your name? What's your server's name? What's your username? And what's your password? So in this case, my name is Joseph. Our server name, I'm going to call this, and for whatever reason, Ubuntu doesn't let you do capital letters.
Oh.
I don't understand that, but we're going to do Joseph Linux DT for desktop. Pick a username. We're going to just go with Joseph because that's easy. And then I am not going to say what I am putting in for my password.
It's password 123.
That's right. So
every IT person's favorite password.
Yes, but with a capital P and an exclamation point at the end. That's it.
That's it. It's easy.
So I've got in name, the server name, username, and a password. Now I'm going to hit done. And you're going to see, hey, you could do Ubuntu Pro if you wanted.
Ooh.
Great. That's fantastic. Cool. No. We're just going to keep skip selected.
We're still amateurs right
Yep,
now.
and we're going to hit continue. All right. Now this setting, install Open SSH server.
Yeah.
Absolutely, we want to check this box.
Okay.
So we're going to check that box. Now you could import SSH keys. SSH keys are like your kind of, it's not a password, but it's like information that gets used for passwords whenever you're making that encryption with SSH. SSH, if you remember, secure shell. We are not going to do any keys. We're just going to let it do its thing. But we are going to make sure that we install this Open SSH server, because what this does is it allows us to remotely access this machine in a few minutes.
Okay.
So we're doing that. We're coming down and hitting done. Here's a bunch of stuff, like packages that you could install. We, at this point, because of what we're doing with this machine, don't care about any of them.
What is Mosquito?
I have no idea.
It looks like mosquito, but there's an extra T, so it's Mosquito.
It's the Eclipse Mosquito. Oh, it's an MQTT broker.
Oh, no,
okay, so MQTT is another protocol. So, you know, we talked about HTTP last week and HTTPS. MQTT is another protocol you use for communication.
Okay.
So a broker for MQTT, and this has nothing to do with what we're doing, but a broker is kind of like that intermediary device or server device that tells other MQTT clients the information it needs for connecting for certain communications.
Okay.
Which is good to know, because I might need that for work before too long. So we're going to skip all these packages, though. We're going to hit done, move on to this. Then we just wait on this. It's installing some different programs. It's installing, some of that, some of the things that we've told it that it needs to do. That's what it's doing. So
how long do we wait?
Until we've had at least another sip and it says it's finished.
No, it's not that long.
I took 2 sips at the same time just in case.
And it's still not done.
So this actually, it doesn't take very long. In fact, it's finished. So now down here at the bottom, it's kind of hard to see, but it says reboot now.
Yep.
So that tells me it's finished. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to hit reboot now. And it's going to say, hey, dude, you're a dummy. You still have a USB drive in this thing. When it tells me that, I'm going to pull the USB out, and it will then boot to Ubuntu.
Oh.
So we'll let it do its thing. Okay, so it's been a couple seconds here, a couple minutes. It actually didn't take that long, but because of the resolution of the monitor, we really couldn't see the text on the top right. It is up there. What it's telling me is, hey, dummy.
That's the top left.
Top left, yes.
He's had some drinks,
yes.
y'all.
So the top left of the monitor, it has some text up there. What it's telling me is, hey, dummy, you've got a flash drive in here. The flash drive has a bootable installer on it, or an executable. You need to take that thing out and then hit enter. So down in the back of the machine, we pop this bad guy out. It's out. Then we hit enter, and we let it do its thing. So now it's going to kick back in.
Ooh, the alien.
So that's I've got an Alienware machine, so that's just a splash page for that.
Close to Wakanda as I'm gonna get. Huh?
That's it. That's the only graphics you're gonna see. Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever.
All right, so it's booting up here.
That was from my friend Melissa, who says I reference the MCU almost every episode.
Well, we have to. Okay.
It's ruling the world.
So now, what we're seeing is the login screen. So we're going to log in with the account that we just created.
It's way up here.
It is way up there.
Tiny and
so we're going to log in.
Yep. With Joseph. Password. Username. And then the password is password 123 capital P exclamation point.
Yeah.
For the sake of this, it is. And we've also refilled our drinks in the time that it took, so we're back to the top with the Cuba. Cuba's given us more than just good cigars. It's given us Cuba Libres. I have no idea if it's from Cuba or not. Fun fact, though. Bacardi Distillery. I'll kill time while he's doing his thing. Bacardi Distillery actually began in Cuba. If you were to go do a distillery tour now, it would be in Puerto Rico, but it began in Cuba. And one fun thing, I don't really have any examples to show you, but this rum bottle here has a label around the edge. When you get like Bacardi's specifically, you get up to like the 8-year, the 10-year, that kind of thing. I'm not even on camera. It will have a cigar label around that, and that will indicate that this particular bottle of rum pairs very well with a nice cigar, specifically a Cuban cigar, and that goes back to its roots in Cuba. So that's your little factoid. We started doing trivia at the bar, so you know I'm all about trivia these days. So if you have a favorite cocktail from a specific movie, let us know about it. So I know if we were gonna do like, oh, one of my favorite movies is Talladega Nights. They don't really have cocktails in there, but they do talk a lot about Mountain Dew. Getting all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Okay, so we had a little bit of technical difficulties there where the keyboard was doing something weird and entering in multiple characters, but got it figured out, redid it. So just so everybody knows, our IP address I said earlier was 1.205. Now it's going to be 1.206. No big deal. We note that, and we're going to use it in a second. Okay. In fact, because of us now being logged in, let's find our IP address. So in Linux, how do you do that? Of course, we saw it earlier, but we're going to go ahead and do a little command here, IP space ADDR space show. And if you scan through that, there's your 127.0.0.1, your loopback address that we were talking about last week. But what we're looking for is right here, 192.168.1.206/24, and 1.255 is your broadcast address there. So all we care about in that is going to be your 1.206, and that's fantastic. So next we're going to do another command because we just installed an operating system. We need to make sure the operating system is up to date. So to do that, we type in a command sudo. Sudo basically stands for super user do. So anytime you see sudo, it's the super user is going to do a functionality. You're going to do that a lot. So we'll do sudo, and we're going to do apt. Apt is kind of the Linux App Store, basically.
Oh.
And then we're going to do update.
Could be apartment. It's where Linux lives.
Yep. It's
in his apartment. Update his apartment. Sudo commands it.
Okay, now it's asking for the password. We'll see if the keyboard is going to let me do this.
Boom.
Okay, there we go. So now you see it's found some updates. So now what we do is very similar command to what we just did. We're going to do sudo apt upgrade, and then we're going to do upgrade instead of update, and then we're going to do a -y. The Y there just stands for yes.
Oh, okay.
So we let it do its thing. What's really nice about Linux-based stuff is that it does not have really heavy files. So you know, it takes a little bit less time than if you're on Windows and you're installing updates. It takes forever to do stuff.
Yes, so, it does.
In this case, it is done. That's great. That means we can now SSH into this machine. Instead of using the command line through the machine, we're going to SSH into it, which is nice because I'm going to do that from my laptop, where I can just copy and paste commands. So we're going to ditch this keyboard that is throwing in random duplicate letters.
Yep. Lame.
And pop out this HDMI cord here. And you're good. You can just leave that in there.
Okay.
And
that one.
Then we'll slide over. We get to have a little bit of fun.
His definition of fun is not mine.
All right. So now we got that on there. So now what I'm going to do is stick this guy over here. Here's our command prompt.
Yep.
Okay, so you can see that there, and I'm going to go ahead as well back over here and start screen recording. All right, so here we go. We're going to SSH into this machine. We're going to secure shell, so we're going to remotely access it. So what we're going to do is SSH, super easy command right there, and then we're going to do our username, which was Joseph.
Nope, that's not how you spell it.
Yeah, sometimes I forget how to spell my own name. And then you're going to do @ and you're going to do the IP address. So 192.168.1. And in this case, 206.
Boom.
So we hit that. Boom. There we go. Are you sure you want to continue connecting? This is a security question. In this case, we're doing this on purpose, so we're going to hit yes.
What's fingerprint? Makes you want to...
Yeah, I'm not sure. Now we're going to type in our password here.
Yes, no, fingerprint. It's like yes or no, or I'm going to give you the finger.
Yeah. Okay, so now we are in this machine. You can see right there, Joseph at Joseph Linux DT. So we're in this machine. It's time to do the cool stuff.
Oh.
All right, so...
This is where like the John Wick of nerd tech comes out. Yeah.
So you can check your commands again, right? You can do your sudo, and it's the same commands as before, but this is just a point for making sure that you're up to date. Sudo apt, and then update. It's going to scan after we type in our password because you're doing a super user thing. So it's like you always got to put your password in for everything. It's checking all packages are up to date. So we're good to go on that. So we're just going to move on from there.
Okay. Just in case they updated it in the last 30 seconds.
Yeah. So then you have to install some prereqs for Docker. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do sudo. Then we're going to do apt for your app store. Then we're going to install with a /y here because we want to do it. That's the whole point. And certificates, curl, GNUPG, LSB release. Okay. I don't know what all this command does, like what all the text is there. But basically what we're doing is we're allowing Ubuntu to talk to Docker servers securely. Okay. So it did it. It's good. We're ready to move on. So we're going to add Docker's GPG key. I don't know what that means. I'm not a Linux guy. Somebody in the comments tell me what GPG is, or just go Google it. But in order to make that work, we're going to do a sudo. We're going to do an mk directory. And then we're going to do p. And here is going to be our location, etc/apt/keyring. So we hit enter. Then we do our next command, curl fssl, and then there's a link here. You can see it in the screen recording. So that little icon right there is called a pipe.
Pipe? It's just a straight up and down line.
I think from here I'm going to be doing some copying and pasting for the point of it. In fact, I'm going to do some copying and pasting right now.
Okay.
Because evidently I typed something wrong.
I mean, that's a long string to type in anyway, so.
All right, so there we go. So evidently I typed something in wrong the first time, but we got it now. And we're ready for the next command. So the next command is we're going to tell Ubuntu where to download Docker from. So that's what we're going to do next. In fact, we're going to have a couple commands. We're going to paste them all in there at the same time and see if they don't take. And it looks like we did an echo. We did the deb command. It looks like everything's good. So now we know where to download Docker from. And now let's install that Docker. So here we're going to copy and paste another command. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want, you can check the show notes. I will put all of these show notes, or all of these commands into the show notes with some information so that you can copy and paste on your own time there. Okay, so now we're good there. Now, Docker is going to make us type sudo every single time for our user. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of that requirement by doing a sudo usermod -ag docker and then $user. And evidently that's not going to work. Okay, so we had a little bit of craziness there where it was doing some weird stuff. Didn't let me enter in the command, so I was looking for directories that didn't exist for whatever reason. But squared that away. We got in what we were trying to do, where we have allowed the user, my user, to be able to do this without having to type in sudo all the time. But right after that, of course, we're going to go ahead and type in sudo one more time. So sudo apt update. We're looking again. Is there any updates? It's good to go. All packages are up to date. So don't know what the original craziness was about, but it seems to be good. We're going to go ahead and exit our SSH session because we've just added the user as being able to be this sudo user all the time.
Okay.
So we need to log out, log back in order for it to take effect. So we're going to do our SSH again, and we're going to go ahead and put in our Joseph at 192.168.1.206 to enter back in, put in our password. And now we're in the machine again. So then we're going to verify Docker is installed and running by doing a docker /version. And
unknown shorthand.
we're going to do 2 hyphens there, not just 1, because this is Linux and Linux is weird about everything. But you see Docker version 29.3 is right there. So we've got Docker, it's running. Now it's time to move past Docker and let's do some Plex.
Okay.
So we're going to do a couple home folders for Plex. We're going to do an mk directory /p. And we'll see if I can't type all this correctly. The good thing for the people at home is they get to copy and paste all these. So earlier we were talking about, you mentioned there's different folders you're going to have. And that's what we're creating right now is our folders for movies and for TV. So that's what we've just done.
Gotcha.
Okay, now we create what's called a YAML file. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it's used for managing applications. So we're going to do another command here. That's nano, and then our little command for our Docker compose files, or YML. Hey, we're in a new page. This is crazy. I'm just going to tell you right now, don't try to type all this in. What we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste this directly over. And hopefully we get it without any crazy copy and paste errors like what we were just seeing. So now let's do a Control-O. Okay, so now we are pulling up the Docker. It's creating our container for Plex. Looks like it's finished. Okay, so now we get to see if we can't log in. Let's go back to the beginning here and do an HTTP // You'll notice I've done a colon here and then 32400. So there is going to be your port number, and then web. And there's too many fours there. Hey, Plex! Oh, what a beautiful thing to see. All right, so now we're going to log into this guy.
So this is running on your Linux.
This is running on the Linux, and I'm using my laptop that is on the same network as the Linux box and being able to access it.
Okay. And you've already created your Plex account?
I did. So I did this a couple days ago. Okay, so we're finally into Plex, got the account straightened out. So we hit got it. And this is right here. It's going to say, hey, do you want to buy this Plex Pass thing? In this case, we're just going to skip this and say no. So then it's going to give you a server name. This is the server name that I gave this machine, so it's good to go. I'll know what this is. And I'm going to say yes, allow me to access my media outside my home. And I'm going to hit next. Then it's going to want us to do our media library. So when that loads, that's what we'll do next.
So how do you add media to this unit?
Good question. That I have not figured out yet.
Oh, okay.
But when we get inside of Plex, you'll kind of see a little bit of the platform on Plex. So we're going to add a library. So we want to do our movies library. We select it.
Yep.
Movies, English, next. And we're going to browse and we're going to give it movies. So there's movies. So now we've done that.
And those are the files you created earlier.
Yep.
So
we're going to add that library. Then we're going to add another one so we can do the TV shows. So TV shows, there its name is TV shows. That's good. So we're going to browse for the media folder and it's TV right there. Again, another one we created earlier. So we hit add library. We've got the two that we want and we hit next. This is going to let you do Plex apps. Basically that's, go find the app on your phone.
Right.
Then we hit done. And hey, now we have Plex.
Ooh, sisters.
Yep. So there's Murdoch Mysteries, Property Brothers,
Charmed.
I don't think YouTube will cry about the fact that we're showing these pictures or anything. So I think we're okay. But that is now the Plex platform. We're going to leave this alone for a little bit, and we're going to do a couple other things that would be really good for us to do. And then we're going to come back to Plex as a way to wrap this guy up. So we're going to just minimize this, go back to our SSH, and let us go back to our screen recording for that. Okay, we need to install something called Cockpit. So we're going to do that. So sudo apt update. Put in our password because we need passwords all the time.
I thought you didn't have to run sudo anymore.
For these particular commands, you still got to run sudo.
Gotcha.
And also we're getting outside of Docker back to the Ubuntu stuff. So then we're going to do sudo apt install y, and now we need Cockpit. And we're running all that stuff. It's installing Cockpit. Now, Cockpit is kind of a management home screen, so to speak. So that's going to be really nice. So now we're going to do sudo systemctl enable 2 hyphens this time. And there's your Cockpit socket. So we're good there. Now what we want to do is keep Linux from going to sleep, because this is a machine that had Windows on it before and you don't want it to go to sleep necessarily. So we're going to tell it not to do that.
No, you missed a letter.
Woo. Hibernate, target. Yep, and then hybrid. Sleep, target. All right. So now we've done that. So that part should be good. Now we're going to access the cockpit from a browser. So we're going to go back to our browser here. All right, we're going to open up a new tab. And we're going to access, oh, this time we're going to do HTTPS instead of HTTP. Put in our address. And now our port is going to be 9090. We're going to say advanced. We're going to say proceed. And hey, now it's going to ask us for a username. So I'm just going to same username as before. And the first thing I'm going to do, because of this screen, I'm going to hit this turn on administrative access. And we'll type in our password again. It's kind of weird because you just used your password to access it. So why do you need it again? I don't know, but that's how Cockpit works. So we do that. Now we've got Cockpit. So Cockpit's kind of cool. You can see, the health of your machine, your CPU. Here's some system info. So, what is the point of Cockpit? It has nothing to do with Plex. This is more of, hey, you've got an Ubuntu server. Let's keep an eye on your server. Let's make sure that your Linux-based box is going to keep working like it needs to. Okay, so now we have done that with Cockpit. That's good. Everybody can explore Cockpit on their own. They can see all the different things that are on there. Now we're going to add Portainer. And Portainer is kind of a command center, basically. So we're going to go back to our command line here. And we're going to make sure that we have the right screen capture. Okay, so we're going to come over here and we're going to do Docker volume create Portainer data. Okay, so now it's created that. So then we've got several commands that we're going to run here. It does help to put your slash the right direction. Okay, so now we're going to give this some ports, which everyone is now an expert on based on last week. So we're going to use 9443 as our main port here. Okay, and then we're going to give this a name. Oops. Let that do its thing. Now we're going to go access the dashboard. So we're coming back over here. Again, HTTPS. And then our IP address. Then your port. We're going to say advanced and continue because it's good to go. No security concerns there.
So what is Portainer?
So Portainer is that command center I mentioned earlier. So it wants you to create a username and password. And you'll kind of see a little bit whenever we log into this what it's trying to do. Again, do you need it to run Plex? No, but highly suggest that you use this for your Linux box. All right, so now we have the Pertainer IO. We're going to hit get started here, and we're going to go to this local group that's right here. And so now what you can see is you've got containers that are embedded within Linux and Ubuntu. We're going to go to these containers here. You're going to see there's your Plex right there, and then also Pertainer is its own. But this allows you to keep an eye on your Plex container here. So again, not necessary to run Plex, but long term, you're going to want to be able to see this to keep an eye on how your Plex is working. Okay.
So this is like if you're running Windows and you hit like Control-Alt-Delete and it pulled up, and you could see all your programs that
like
are
a
running.
task manager.
Yeah, like a task manager.
Similar, yeah. So, but in this case, it's the tasks in the different containers and applications that are running inside of your Linux box and on Docker and that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that's going to be good for you to do. But now we want to do the thing for remote access. So we're going to try this tail scale. So let's go back here.
It's a lot simpler process if you use Windows.
Yes.
I'm just going to say.
All right, so we're back to...
If we would have used a micro
command line.
PC, we'd have been watching Goonies by now.
Yeah, probably. So we're going to add tail scale for easy VPN access. We'll do a curl. Let it do its thing here. Then we need to link the account by doing a sudo tailscale up. It's going to give us a command, a URL there. We're going to click on that guy. And pull them up in a browser. I'm going to just do sign in with Google. We're going to connect this. Login successful. Now, it should, when we go back to our command line, allow us to get our IP address. So now you got a 100.65 number. That's the IP address that you want to write down. So I'm going to write this down in my notes here. That's going to be 100.65.233.42. So the way this works is on your phone. You can go to the Tailscale app. You see the Tailscale app there?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Not connected.
Not connected. We're going to hit connect. And it's going to actually, because of the way this is set up, it's going to pull that address automatically, that 100.65. So you can see on my phone, it shows that as an option.
Okay.
Shows that as an option. So we're going to click on that guy. We're now connected to it. And there's a thing called key expiry. You might want to turn that off. What that does is it makes you sign back in every 5 months. But now we're connected. What I'll do is I'm going to open up a browser now with my Wi-Fi turned off in my really, really good cell phone service inside this room.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to access that IP address now from my phone. And we're going to go straight to the Ubuntu. So we've done that. We're going to use port 9090. That's what we set it up for earlier. And you can see there it is on my phone. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing now in a browser, 100.42. But now instead of using 9090, we're going to use that 32400 that we set up for Plex earlier. And with my really good cell phone service, you'll see we are now accessing the Plex media device that we have just set up.
Okay.
So,
but you're doing that through a browser, not through a Plex app.
right. So this is just me showing how the VPN and Tailscale works.
Gotcha.
You could, at the same time, log into Plex from the Plex app on your phone, and now you can connect to it as well. But if you use the Tailscale, that allows you to kind of be locally connected to that application.
No matter where you are.
Yes. So all that now, and we've done Pertainer, we've done Cockpit, that's both Ubuntu Linux things, we've done Docker, which is a Linux-based application for sorting applications. And now, essentially, it's just a matter of going back to your Plex media server and playing around. Because you're pretty well to the point now where you can go and explore the site, explore how all this works, and then once you have figured out how it all works, you can certainly learn how to start adding your own videos and your own movies, your own TV shows. And you can do more than just movies and TV shows with Plex. You can do audio files and pictures and stuff like that. So I have not dove into this enough to know exactly how I would start adding my own digital files to this. That may be a future video, or may just be an expansion on this video later on. But yeah, now I can go and start exploring.
It's easier on Windows.
Yes, well, everything's easier on Windows. Linux, like I said earlier, Linux does have a barrier to entry in that it requires more research and requires, learning some commands and things of that nature.
I would imagine you could probably plug in a hard drive with media files on it, and you can copy those files over to, with your command lines.
Yeah.
Copy them over to the movie folder or whatever.
Yeah. You can just download from the internet, potentially.
Yeah.
To get them in there. So, but, ladies and gentlemen, that is Linux. ladies and gentlemen, that is Linux. That is an in-home media server. That is the beginning stages of getting that in-home media server going. So if you guys have had some experience with Linux, some experience with Plex, comment below the things that you would do next. And if you have any insight or key points, tips, and tricks on Linux and on Plex, we'll take them. Everybody else would love to see them too, so throw them in there.
Yep, and if you're excited for the Academy Awards, let us know also which movie you think should be Best Picture.
Yes.
So,
all right. We're Tipsy Tech Talk. I'm Joseph, General Manager of an IT company. This is...
And I'm Joey Ruff, drinking all the Cuba Libres tonight.
Yes. So stay safe out there. Follow your local laws and regulations. Don't pirate videos. That's not what we're intending you to do. But if you drink rum while you're watching a movie, I guess you're pirating a video.
You are a pirate. That's right. So, yes, this is episode 12. Join us next week for episode 13, where we will do more crazy things and drink more deliciousness.
Yes.
So
we're Tipsy Tech Talk. We're tipsy, that's for sure. We're Tipsy Tech Talk, and we will see you next time.
Adios.